Hello everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast is part of the Squorm N Paxhydermatous. This audio podcast is part of the Besieged Squad. This audio podcast is part of a Storm Robotics production. Through this audio podcast, looking or going back to some reflections based on Healthcare Science Week, Healthcare Science Week, and where the where and through Healthcare Science Week is and where there tends to be a sort of an awareness in around different aspects of laboratory medicine and pathology and blood sciences, but also in amongst sciences of varying sort of specialties across across science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So, in as part of the Healthcare Science Week, there have been an opportunity to attend a Healthcare Science Week webinar, which was in support of in which was a sort of an opportunity to listen in on some of the speakers and presenters that had been talking about different aspects of healthcare in across different different specialisms across STEM, and the webinar had invited healthcare science professionals who provided overviews of across five professional groupings, including engineering sciences, health informatics sciences, laboratory sciences, physical and imaging sciences, and physiological sciences. So the first speaker the first speaker or presenter had talked about engineering sciences and talked a little bit about sustainability in rehabilitation engineering. And the speaker talked actually about or talked or focused on aspects of engineering in prosthetic and orthotics, aligned to quality management. The second speaker presenter talked about aspects regarding bioinformatics in public health microbiology, and where bioinformatics plays an important role in analyzing and interpretation of genomic data in actionable where bioinformatics plays an important role in analyzing and interpretations of genomic data into actionable insights for healthcare professionals. And so the speaker and presenter informed that when combined with metadata, genomics becomes a more powerful tool for public health in context of microbiology. So, for example, genomics linked to microbiology can help with viruses and variant detection, pathogen surveillance, outbreak investigation, cluster detection, vaccine effectiveness, and chronic infections. Then there was another speaker or presenter that talked about that then talked about nanopore sequencing in context of neuro oncology from laboratory genetics laboratory genetics perspective. And the speaker and presenter talked a little bit about the basis of Illumina sequencing technology, and how the laboratory investigation and how in around Illumina sequencing technology, and particularly around and particularly as part of this form of laboratory investigation can be used or utilized to determine genetic anomalies from DNA fragments, and then synthesis by sequencing, so that misnomer in genetics can be determined and or established. So overall, the updates through Healthcare Science Week were informative. The basis of the webinar was to additionally highlight how scientists across the sciences, from biomedical and clinical and non-clinical, all make a difference to patient care and patient lives. So that draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast is part of the Squorm N Paxhydermatous. This audio podcast is part of the Besieged Squad, the Besieged Squad, and this audio podcast is part of a Storm Robotics production.